Scorched Earth, the second map to be released by the developers themselves. Unlike the island, this map takes place on a hot desert, making the days be unbearably hot with danger lurking around every corner. This map also introduced 9 new dinos, each requiring you to do something specific to tame. From your basic jerboa that needs a few punches to the face, to the passive feeding of a mantis, all the way to waiting for the sun to literally burn the map, allowing a special dino to spawn that you need to burn in order to tame. Here's how it went. I spawned in a relatively calm area and got to work. As a quick heads up, I've never played this map like ever. Only Ragnarok, so this was definitely gonna be interesting. I'm sorry, little one. After killing that jerboa, I decided to make my presence known by harassing some local wildlife. And also decided to kill a moth for some quick silk because I was gonna need it for the best and pretty much only Scorched Earth armor, the Desert Cloth armor. After learning it, I made my way over to a nearby river that had a lonely metal vein guarded by 2 raptors, and they did a pretty damn good job at protecting it. No worries, because I made my way back with the help of 2 local Yankees and killed the raptors. Afterwards, I was finally able to craft most of the armor, not all, because for the helmet you need both crystals and silica parts. With the armor required, it was time to do a little bit of taming. I started with this purge jerboa that was no match for my punches. After exploring for a while, I found this good Morellatops, and I decided to tame it. After knocking him out, I found this high level moth, so I bowled it and got to work. And at this point you would say, oh, he already has 3 of the 9 dinos, and this is going great. Oh yeah? Well, the moth ran away, as you can see, and when I returned the Morellatops, he got eaten by 2 pigs. So that was great. On the way home, I found a decent sword that would surely come in handy in dealing with the wildlife. Oh, I also made some more tranks, found the new Morellatops that these raptors took great interest in, and I of course interfered to protect it. After the Morellatops fell, little bro warned me of a sandstorm approaching, so I quickly crafted a tent and waited both for it to end and for the Morellatops to tame. He tamed way before the sandstorm ended, so I had to make my way back home slowly. Once home, I packed everything up and set out to Green Obelisk. Just in case you didn't know, every obelisk is basically an oasis, but that doesn't really mean that they're the safest place to be in. I also developed a new strategy to tame a moth, which involves me trapping it, and it died. So that was a nice waste of tranks. With that disappointment out of the way, I set out again to raid the obelisk this time. After arriving, I put down everything, got some crystals from the nearby mountain, and tried taming yet another moth. This time, however, I could actually see its health, and after I tamed it, I could finally fly. Back home, I became a farmer, however, for only 2 crops. Carrots and lemons, because with them I can craft something I'm gonna need later on. Also, these rocks that I thought were sand are actually silica parts, so I quickly craft 2 goggles, one for me and one for my jerboa. Moving on, I tranked the stony dragon, and when I went over to feed it, I got stuck. I waited for it to tame and got stuck even more. What? I literally had no way to get out. But then I remembered that I actually killed some mantises earlier on, so I had organic polymer. But I couldn't eat it because I was falling. So I was as stuck as you can literally be in this game. No grapple and no way to die. So I unfortunately had to cheat my way out of the hole, which made me feel like shit, but if the game's gonna cheat, then I'm gonna cheat too. Back home, I tested a new acquisition and it was decent in terms of damage. The torpor it inflicted was horrendous, but hey, 100 damage is not that bad. After that, I went to do something stupid. Kill a wyvern egg. I was kinda scared because the moth is miles slower than the Terra. so it was almost certain I was going to die. But that didn't stop me. I found this 150 lightning egg that I quickly stole and made a run for it. Even with these matrix dodges, it still wasn't enough to escape the wyverns. So I, of course, died. Also died once, no, twice on the way back. But then I remembered that the awesome teleporter has a feature that allows you to get your body back. And yeah, the raid heist was completed and the wyvern was imprinted. Anyway, I had to AFK, waiting for it to grow and also build a nanny. With wyvern grown, I was basically the strongest entity on this map, so I head out to the vast desert to tame 2 dinos, a vulture and a mantis. While looking for this explorer note, a deathworm attacked me, which was absolutely perfect because I was looking for these guys. And due to my absurdly high DPS, the deathworm fell and gave me his horn. But I wasn't planning on using it as a trophy. No. I needed it to tame an aggressive grasshopper. With that disappointment, I headed home and made a ghillie suit, only to return and tame a vulture. With 1 meat, although it says I need 2, but hey, I'll take it. Also demolished this alpha deathworm, and towards the end of the day, I got to use the ghillie suit on a mantis. And yeah, that didn't work either. So I'm really glad I became a farmer, because I was absolutely gonna need a bug repellent right now. I then headed home, and mere seconds later, I tamed the mantis. With the mantis, I went back home and farmed like crazy. I also put down some oil pumps because that's the only way to get oil in this desert. With the mantis and the oil pumps in place, getting a chemistry bench and an industrial forge proved to be a trivial task. With them built, it was finally time to tame a rock golem for the first time ever. And after finding one, I built a trap. I aggroed it and shot him down with cannonballs. Yeah, this might take a while. Back home, I did some snipe with his rock. With 8 dinos tamed, we had one more, the Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix spawns only under a specific circumstance. It has to be a heatwave. One of the 3 unique random events that can occur on Scorched Earth. The others being storms and sandstorms. And at this point you might be wondering, okay, but how do you tame a phoenix? Well, I'm really glad you asked, because you need to find it in the wild. Also, it can spawn on the whole map. Then you need to wait for the heatwave to end, because it turns to ash and disappears. Then use a parasaur to detect its exact location, build a trap, and burn it. You can also do it with a fire wyvern, which is way faster and way easier. I did die twice, but the task was completed. Also, it's underwhelming as fuck. I'm either using it wrong, or it's a bad dino. On the bright side, it poops silica pearls. Before leaving, I tamed them off because the old one, yeah, we don't talk about the old one. While he was taming, I gathered everyone for a group photo. And of course I was the one with them off. And with that, I cryopoded everyone and headed out to the island. By the way, the secondary objective was to uncover the whole map, and that was completed too, so that was great. And after a few hours of flying, I finally made it over to the island. Ah, home sweet home. I had everyone to the collection, and with that, I finished Scorched Earth. I had a lot of fun recording this, and I hope you too had fun watching. Next up is Aberration.